Hello everyone, welcome back to the first video of the 24-25 season on my channel. This season I plan on doing a weekly video, a team reveal and a deadline stream as usual. And if there's any other content you'd like to see, I will be consistent, so please let me know. Before we get into the team reveal, I would just like to say welcome back to the channel, and for anyone that doesn't know me, my name is FPL Choi, and last season I had a very good season. I was, for 30 game weeks, in the top 100. I was second at one point, and I finished the season, I can say disappointingly, but it was very good in the end, which is 1.8k. This is my 7th season of playing FPL, and I also have a top 5k, which was in 2021. So if you want to support my channel, welcome, and let's get into the team. Also, join my mini league before we get into the team. So thank you. So this is the draft, and it's definitely subject to change, but on goal first we're going with Andre Onana. At 5 million last season he recorded the third most points for a goalkeeper, and in my opinion United had a very poor season, and I can't see them being much worse next season. So they're on the way up in my opinion, and maybe they can be a bit more solid at the back. So for 5 million I have Onana. Next we'll go into the back three. The back three, we have Munoz, Trent and Guardiola for City. For me, Trent is almost a no-brainer if you're going without Haaland. For 7 million, you know what you get with Trent each season. This is the first time I think he's been decreased in price, and I just feel like with Arne Slot, I know it's going to be a turnover, but I can still see big things from Trent playing inverted, and Slot's teams are usually very attacking. So for 6 million, I feel like Guardiola is a great price. He almost played left wing last season for Pep coming towards the end, and he got a few goals. So he's definitely a good option, and he'll be in most of my teams, I think. Next is Daniel Munoz, like I said, and for me, under Glasner, Palace have been revolutionised. They were unreal last season, and he's a very, very attacking fullback for Palace. So we'll get into it later, but the goalkeeper and Munoz equate to 10 million, and I feel like there are a lot of different options you can go with. For me, ideally I'd like Trent and Guardiola. So let's get into the midfield. So to start our midfield five, we have Callum Hudson-Odoi and Arabeshi Eze. Let's start with Eze, I suppose. For 7 million, you know what you get with Eze. Penalty takers, free kicks now with Elise gone, and in general at the heart of what Ollie Glasner's team does. Palace finished the season last season very well. So I'm looking forward to owning Eze, and I would love him at Spurs, but I don't think that's going to happen. For me, a lot of people will have Eze in their team. He's a no-brainer for me. Next is Hudson-Odoi. He's an interesting one at 5.5 million, and I can understand if people are not going there, but for me he fills a nice little gap, and I feel like he could turn around his career if he has a good season this year. So I have no issue having him at all. So next we'll go on to the big three in my team, which is Son, Salah and Nkunku. For me, Salah is almost a no-brainer. In every single draft I've made, he's been in it, and he is the king of FPL after all. I feel for sure in my game week 1 team, with Liverpool's great fixtures going into the season, he will be in my first team. Next we'll go to Nkunku. A lot of people have Nkunku. I feel like he is definitely underpriced in my opinion. 6.5 million. And I don't think people are aware yet of what he can do in that Chelsea team. If he didn't get injured last season, I reckon he would have been at the focal point of what Chelsea do. Of course, Palmer had his breakout season instead, which, seeing those two play alongside each other, I think it would be very interesting to see. Nkunku, I feel like a lot will go through him as well, so it won't just be goals, it will be a lot of assists as well. And next we'll go into Young-Min Son. So a lot of people are talking about Foden versus Palmer versus Saka, but Son is not being included in this conversation, which I find interesting, but that's fine with me. At 9%, Son is 10 million, and he's on penalties, and you could easily see him get 20 to 25 goals next season, especially if Tottenham play a bit better than they did last season. This is the first time in a while Spurs have had their manager for the second season, so give Andrew pre-season, and I feel like Tottenham can do fairly well. So this is how our 5 midfielders line up for our matchday 1 team. With Nkunku on the bench, Eze starting, Salah, Son and Hudson-Odoi. Nkunku on the bench versus City at home, I don't think many people will argue on that. But if you want to start him, that's no issue at all. Maybe for the odd chance he gets something. So let's get into our 3-4s, who you're probably not expecting. So our 3-4s are Darwin, Isak and Richarlison. And I know a lot of people are probably laughing at that, and you're right to do so, because Richarlison's not even fit. But let me explain. He's basically a filler for whoever Tottenham do have up top for when the season starts. Whether that's Richarlison, which I don't know if he's going to be fit or not to start, but if it's Brennan Johnson, who I think has a chance to play down the middle, or if it's one of the younger boys. But I want Tottenham's number 9 for the season to come. I just feel like we'll score a lot of goals this season. So whether it's Richarlison or not, for 7 million, Tottenham striker will be good value in my opinion. So next, I suppose we'll go on to Darwin Núñez, who also attracts a bit of heat. 7.5 million for Darwin Núñez. I can't look past the fixtures. My only issue with Darwin is whether or not he's going to start over Jota, but I do think there is a good chance he starts. And we will know, I assume, before during pre-season, we'll have a good idea what Liverpool's lineup looks like. And of course, down the middle we have Alexander Isak, who I just feel like is unbelievable. I mean, as a player, as an FPL asset, he has it all. And for me, one of the best strikers in the league, probably just behind Haaland. Isak is on penalties. He likes to run the pitch. He gets goals. What else do you want? So for me, it's a no-brainer at 8.5 million. And a lot of people will have him in their team. So that concludes our first 11. And I suppose we'll get onto the bench. We have Turner, who I don't even think is going to play, but for now he's just a filler. Nkunku, of course, and Mykolenko at 4.5, who I feel provides great value. At 4.5, Everton are usually solid, and especially under Sean Dyche, we've seen him do it particularly season after season. So I'm happy to go with Mykolenko at 4.5, and maybe swap with maybe some of the harder fixtures with Munoz. So next we have Ben Johnson, who signed from West Ham to Ipswich. No one is talking about him, and maybe they're right to not talk about him, but for me, I seen him start right wing for West Ham last season, and to be honest, I was impressed with him. He has a good pass and he's quite tidy on the ball. So it'll be interesting to see if he plays on the wing or right back or wing back for Ipswich. But for me, at 4 million, I think I'll be taking a risk with him as my 4 million asset. So if you like this video and you want to support me, feel free to like, comment and subscribe. Let me know in the comments what you think of Haaland versus no Haaland. And if you want to see me make a draft with Haaland in it, let me know in the comments. So delighted to be back, lads, and thank you for watching the video, and I will see you in the next.